Hello and welcome back to the Great Lakes Series. It's the Great Lakes Truck Series today, presented by Patty Engineering. It's the Everybody Loves Walmart 200, and I'm joined in the booth today by Brandon Barkuski, and then on pit road, we have Alex. Brandon, how you doing up in the booth today?
Doing great, Kyle. It's an honor to be up here. I'm excited to do this first one of the season. Looking forward to Kansas. Maybe we should watch the Wizard of Oz. Maybe after this race, we've been here now in the Cup Series and the Truck Series, so a little bit of double action here.
Some of these drivers looking to follow the yellow brick road to victory lane tonight. I'm gonna send it down to Alex. Alex, any information on today's race and how you doing today? Seems like we might have some technical difficulties with Alex. It should be a fun race here in Kansas as we're finishing up qualifying right now, looking to see who's going to get the pole for this event in the Everybody Loves Walmart 200 race number 6 of the season. And I would like to mention that today's broadcast telemetry is brought to you by SDK Gaming. The telemetry you see today is SDK Gaming. And then the cameras for today's broadcast are brought to you by Track Cams for Gourmets. That's Track Cams for Gourmets. Go to trackcams22.com for all your custom cameras here on iRacing. Should be a lot of fun. Great Lakes Truck Series presented by Patty Engineering as they're beginning to grid up. And the pole sitter, look at this. Everybody loves Walmart. The Walmart car is on the pole. Matt Daniels, what a pole. And then on the outside, you're going to have DJ Stagner.
And then followed by him, it'll be on the inside, Hunter Manolinas, and on the outside of row 2, Jordan Gonzalez.
In row number 3, we have Shane Neiswanger and Justin Mons.
Followed by row 4 on the inside, Jacob Bransky, Cup regular, alongside Chris Heller, another Cup regular.
In the next row, needing a good run, you have Matthew Durr with another good qualifying run, and Christopher Huerta.
Then followed by Gavin Fitzgerald on the inside, Eric Keff in the 63 on the outside.
On the inside of the next row, you have William Barbagelata, Mr. Excitement. And on the outside, you have Aaron Duclos.
Nick Hansen will be on the inside of the next row, followed by Frederick Kreemans, road course ringer. He's won at Sonoma in the Cup Series in 16th spot.
In row number 9, on the inside, needing a good rebound this week, you have Michael Sensi. And then on the outside, you have Steve McLean.
And then down the inside, Kevin Wattler, followed by Connor Holden right beside him there on the outside in the 81 truck.
The next row, you have Will Richard. And on the outside, you have Chris White.
Followed right behind there, it's the inside, Brandon White in the 86 machine, and then Aiden DuPont in the 00, starting 24th on the outside of that row.
In the next row, you have Brandon Nafel and Ty Smith in the 18.
Then it'll be Louis Woody, as I call him, Lewis Woodall on the inside, 27th from Britain, and Justin Benda on the outside in 28th.
In the next row, you have Daniel Nanny after a very good practice, not a great qualifying run from him, looking to see if he can come from the back. And on the outside, you have Kyle Hall in the 87 machine.
Hunter Brittle will start 31st on the inside. Brian Mayhew will be 32nd on the outside.
In the next row, you have Michael Levine and Caleb DeSorda in the Dogecoin vehicle.
Ross Brockman, I believe the points leader coming to this event will be starting back in 35th, mired back a little bit in traffic, and then Briar Fritz in 36th.
In the next row, it looks like you have Ashton Lawson and Anderson Bowen, who both didn't put out qualifying times.
Yep, and then it'll be followed off by Marshall Wilson, and then James Shiflett will start 40th tonight in this race, starting way back in the back, and that'll finalize our starting grid.
Should be a lot of fun here today. We're going to go green flag next time by as the lights are still on the pace car, so we have 1 lap to green. I was looking at Brandon, I was looking at Shane Neiswanger. I know you were too. He was the quickest in practice, started 5th. And something interesting on Twitter today, he called his shot.
Oh, man, he's trying to be Babe Ruth out there, I think, Kyle, and I think we're going to have to hold him accountable to that. I think it's public record now. It's out there on Twitter, so He said the last time he's done this was Michigan, I believe, season 2, and I was there. He went out and won it, so he's 1 for 1 in that. But not it's not good to be 50-50. Maybe if you're in the NBA, but not racing.
Yeah, that number 49 machine, the Keystone Light Toyota, looking to get the job done. Called his shot today. I call him Broadway Joe Namath when he called his Super Bowl win years and years ago. Nicewanger looking to get it done today in the 49 machine as he starts 5th. He was the quickest in practice.
Yeah, and I'll add to that too. Matt Daniels getting ready, his second pole here. I'm very intrigued to see what he's got. This is his home racetrack. I really want to see what Matt can do. He's had some bad luck this season. Maybe he can turn it around tonight, Kyle.
I'm very excited to see Matt Daniels on the pole in the number 25, needing a good run after a very difficult start to the season for the 25 Walmart machine. But he's looking to get the job done today with DJ Stagner starting on his outside in the 64 machine. The pace car's off, and the green flag is waving here in Kansas for the Everybody Loves Walmart 200, and a great start from the 25 of Matt Daniels.
Yeah, you can see Matt just did everything he wanted. Timed that restart perfectly there, getting out a couple car lengths, make it easy on himself going into the first set of corners here.
Hunter Madalinas has been really strong all season long in that number 9 machine. He's closing in on Matt Daniels coming off of turn 2. Matt Daniels may be taking a little easy right now as Madalinas dives it into 3, looking to lead lap number 1.
And I'll tell you what, every point counts. Hunter already with 2 wins this season. He's going to get some more regular season points right here if he leads this one, Kyle. This is really important. I'd be dogfighting for this as well. Every point matters, and that's a championship point right there.
Madalinas able to get the point, able to lead the lap. He's leading the field right now in that monster machine. A little different colors this week. Matt Daniels falling a little farther back, around 2 car lengths back, and then right behind him you have Stagner. And then here comes Nicewanger in the 49, making a move going into 3 and 4 in the Keystone Light Toyota.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Kyle, he might not have been kidding on Twitter. I think he heard us maybe before the call. He's charging hard here, coming up here through the pack. He wants to lead this race.
The number 49 and Nicewanger looking very nice in that 49 right now. The number 39 of Justin Mons right there behind him. He's needing a good run. He's looked good all season, but hasn't had the finishes to show.
How about that blocking down the backstretch? You can see how hard these guys have to fight, Kyle. It's a give and take seesaw balance. You want to save your tires, but you also don't want to lose spots. It's going to be easiest to pass early in the run. So you got to save your stuff, but you also can't save too much because you'll find yourself back in 10th and 12th and have to, really work really hard in the long run. So I don't blame these guys at all for blocking and fighting hard back here.
And Daniels and Madalinas make contact. Madalinas is in the wall. Daniels saves it. And look at Nicewanger. He has a huge gap now. Oh my goodness. They were fighting hard for the lead down the front stretch, and it looked like Matt Daniels might have just slid up a little bit. I'm not sure. I'll need to take another look at that replay. Oh, Madalinas saying got a little loose on the radio.
I think, honestly, it's a product. I ran some laps with the team last night. It's a product of the cold tires and the air. Sometimes it can make these rear ends of these trucks just a little light, and when you're pressing the gas so hard trying to get off the corner early on cold tires, sometimes it just snaps. Really just looked like a racing deal. Very unfortunate for Hunter early here.
Very disappointing to see that happen to Hunter and Matt Daniels this early on in the race. We're going to try to get a replay on that. And here you see the aftermath. Some drivers avoiding it. You see the number 36 barely getting by Elliott Henderson. Christopher Heller, actually, is in the 36 this week. It's so confusing with that 36 machine.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I drive that machine as well, but we definitely should probably do a better job maybe advertising to you guys who is in that machine. We run the same paint scheme, but I'm going to keep my eyes on Chris here. Was practicing with Chris last night. I feel like Chris is very confident at this racetrack. He loves running the high line, so don't take your eyes off him just yet. I know I got a little 25-11 bias, but he's going to have something to say here in a couple laps, I bet you.
Chris Heller was telling us before the race he really wants to win today in that 36 machine, and he's looking for it. He's looking to get past the number 49 and Nicewanger on the outside. And that's what I love so much about Kansas as it being a multi-groove racetrack. He can make this pass anywhere he's trying to right now, at least on these fresh tires.
Man, the big thing is you gotta be really smart. I think it's something that Heller really has gotten a lot better at. sometimes you want to go, go, go. And sometimes in this package, you really got to size guys up. So you'll notice how Chris is just riding behind him using the draft, and he's going to wait for an opportunity because he knows once he goes side by side, DJ right behind them is going to close right up.
And they're battling it out. Look at Heller. He's trying to take the spot away from Nicewanger. Looks like he's going to clear him going into 3, and he does. And Stagner is going to try to follow him through in the number 64. And look at Christopher Huerta in the 88. Where'd he come from?
I was about to say the same thing there, Kyle. Where did that 88 machine come from? He is flying up there, and he is taking advantage of these guys being side by side, like I said.
Christopher's already up 6 spots, and he's looking to go up 7 spots since the green flag wove. He's trying to get past the number 49 here of Nicewanger. And right behind him, you see that colorful number 03 of Jacob Bransky.
Jake Bransky. I got one word to describe this guy. I call him a dog. He's an old school racer. All this guy likes to do is race hard. Anytime you get a track that gets a little loose, like the way Kansas is going to get in the long run, watch him to be a factor maybe late in this race. Was talking to him before, and he said he felt pretty good. He decided to run this one. I would not count Bransky out. He is a darn good race car driver.
Bransky's definitely shown it this season. Very strong, very aggressive, but not too aggressive to the point where everybody hates him.
Yeah, I think maybe sometimes I may have, maybe made that mistake a couple times, just being a little bit aggressive here. But so we get a shot there of Eric Kepf. He's being just the quiet Kepf, the very consistent Kepf is what I call him. I think Eric's one of the smartest guys in this league, and you can see him right now working up to 10th already, just hanging out and picking his spots, and he's doing a great job. This is how Eric races, and that's why he's, one, raced every race, and he's the Iron Man of GLTS, and two, it's why he's always successful in points. He always brings the truck home where it should. And that's, as a race car driver, you want to talk about guys like Mark Martin, just being rock solid and consistent. Nobody does it better than Eric Kepf in the Great Lakes Truck Series.
I've said the exact same thing about Eric Kepf. You know how, like, with NFL players, they have their IQ, QB IQ, and stuff like that? This number 63 car has that driver's IQ. Eric Kepf, Mr. Pink, really smart behind the wheel. Not always the fastest car, but always seems to find himself in the mix of it at the end of these things.
No question about it. As we're looking now at Steve McLean in that 37, I'll tell you what, he's kind of impressed me in some races this season, especially that save at IRP. So looking to see if he can kind of get back on track. I know Steve, I've been following him. He's been having kind of good runs, but maybe not getting the finishes he deserves. And I feel like he's got a lot of talent, and I look forward to him continuing to race in here in the Great Lakes Truck Series. I think he's got a decent chance to make these playoffs and make a name for himself here.
Yeah, very impressive run so far. As you're looking near the back of the pack, you're looking at Steve right now in that 37. He's definitely had strong cars week in and week out. Not always had the finishes so far this season, but definitely been very impressive, shown a lot of speed. And he's showing some speed here early, as he's already moved up 5 spots.
And just look at that multi-groove, Kyle. We're already seeing guys starting to test that high line, and I think it's the right time to start going up there. Last night when we were practicing with the team, it was about lap 15 to 20 was the window where you started kind of migrating your way up to the top of this racetrack. With that, you're going to get a little bit looser of an exit too. So start to watch some of these guys on the exit of corners, maybe start to lose the rear end a little bit, especially as the racetrack gets hotter throughout the afternoon as the sun continues to hit it and rubber builds up, only making the track hotter. But curious, Matty Durr's up there in that 41 machine. Look at that run he's getting off turn 4. I love this. Multi-groove racing is just so awesome to watch, Kyle.
Yeah, Matthew Durr is really putting it up all the way up against that wall. That Tyler Reddick, Kyle Larson-esque line in 3 and 4. He even touched a little bit of, some contact it looked like between him and Gonzalez. But as I was saying, it looked like Durr even got a little bit of the wall off turn 4, and he still had that speed. Gonzalez in the 3 car making moves. He's still in front of the 41.
I'll tell you what, Jordan obviously being a teammate of mine, something he's been telling us is he's been trying to work up to just be up against that wall and having that courage. And I'll tell you one thing about Jordan. I've not seen many guys more hardworking than this guy. Hasn't really had the finishes to back up how he's run this season. And I love to continue to see this guy improve. His work ethic is second to none. And hopefully maybe he utilizes that high line and gets himself up there in the running order. I think he really can do it and can improve a ton.
Matt Durr is really trying to get past the number 67 and then the number 3 of Jordan Gonzalez. Just can't quite seem to find some space as these two have been neck and neck lap after lap after lap. Matthew Durr could not make his move. And I'm hearing now that it sound like the 37 of Steve got in the wall. McLean.
Yeah, I'm not sure actually what happened there. It might have been a product of him getting loose, or it might have just been contact with guys just running side by side. You can see these guys 2, 3 wide. Doesn't look like that much damage. Doesn't look like it really slowed him up. So, hopefully he should be able to continue. He obviously lost some time. That's going to stink, but doesn't look like it's anything that's really maybe killed the truck. He should be okay to continue to proceed here.
As it looks like we're having a battle for the lead develop as Stagner continuously closes in on the number 36 of Christopher Heller, who's in the number 36 this week. You see Elliott Henderson in the chat. Quick shout out to Elliott Henderson. Excited to see him in the booth next week. Taking a break tonight.
And of course, Elliott doing a great job being a teammate of mine running the 36 as well. So shout out to Elliott there. But how about DJ though? He's trying to make that bottom line still work. I didn't think guys would still be running that low at this point in the race. We're almost hitting lap 20 in this run. So maybe what DJ's telling me is that maybe he saved a little bit, and that's maybe why he backed off in the beginning of the run. Maybe he's making that work because he was just being smart with the tires. You can see Heller's getting a big run off. I would like to see maybe Stagner move up maybe at least a lane, try to get some more momentum. These trucks don't have that much horsepower, so what happens is you saw the wheel, you lose the RPMs on exit, and Heller's just keeping them going, and that's why the distance extrapolates right off the corner. That's exactly what you're seeing here in Kansas.
We're around 20 laps into this race. I'm going to see if we can maybe connect with Alex. Alex, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm watching the race, looking around, trying to see what's going on here, and I see you guys talk about the leaders here and how DJ's running the bottom line. From my own experience, I've seemed to notice that with these tracks that seem to have obtained these new grip strips to try and make a multi-lane, is that the bottom typically tends to be the line where you save tires better because you're able to lift off the throttle while still maintaining somewhat similar lap time, which then helps you save the right front tire. So I imagine that's probably what DJ's at least trying to do here.
I think there's definitely some truth to that, Alex, as well. I know from experience exactly what you're talking about. I know even myself at the end of the Kansas race when I had gotten the lead, listened back to the broadcast, and some of you guys were questioning why I was running the bottom, and that partially was the reason. You are able to get off the throttle more. You're in the gas more on the high side, and sometimes here with the rear tires even wearing, running that high side maybe too early can actually kill the rears and make you looser towards the end of the run too. So I'm curious to see how this is going to play out with the balance of both of these trucks running these two different lines as you see DJ now go into the middle.
Definitely seeing some separation on the racetrack now as a lot of these drivers' tires are wearing out, different wears. A lot of cars driving at different speeds. Last time by, I checked and it looked like Jacob Bransky was actually the quickest on the track. Not by much over DJ Stagner and Heller, but around 0.2 quicker than Shane Neiswanger as you're seeing him try to make the pass on him right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, that 03 truck looks pretty strong. It almost looked like he was going to clear him from 2 lanes down. Obviously, off the corner, the high side's going to have the advantage, so something's telling me is that Bransky is doing a good job of saving his stuff, and I think he might be trying to make a charge here maybe in the next 5-10 laps. If he can get around Neiswanger, I think he's got a shot to get up there before pit stops.
Yeah, still a few more laps till pit stops. Alex, what are the pit stops going to look like tonight?
Well, from the knowledge that I've obtained from our admins and associates here in the league is that we're looking at a 33 to 35 lap fuel window unless you happen to be fuel saving a lot, in which case you could make it all the way to 37 laps. And so with a race being 125 laps long, that's at least going to be 3 pit stops, I believe, to make it through to the end of the race, if this stays green, of course.
Thanks for the information, Alex, as always. And right when you say that, the caution's out. The commentator cursed. I didn't know it could do cautions. I didn't know it could do cautions, Alex.
Oh my god, you can't write this. This is incredible.
Oh my goodness, the split-second broadcasting commentator curse is back, and Daniels, it looked like, oh man, you hate to see it. Started on pole.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the bad luck continues here for the 25 this season, unfortunately, and doesn't look like the hometown track is going to make things any better for Matt today.
So looking on the replay, it looked like he might have gotten into the pit wall, almost spinning down to the inside of the track. Here we get a replay here. Looked like that was Steve, the number 37, McLean. couldn't tell from that angle, but it looked like there was just might have been a racing deal off the corner, both of them going for the same spot.
Yeah, I don't know if Matt caught the wall or he was afraid of catching the wall. Didn't see wall contact. Maybe that's what it was. Sometimes guys get a little freaked out when they're going towards the wall, and he may have just turned left too much and, can't go through race cars. Unfortunately, we haven't figured that one out yet, and just bad luck and bad timing, I think, really. Get a better angle here.
I don't know.
Maybe Steve was even getting tight, honestly, and I really
Bransky
think
really overshot his box. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Bransky just way overshot his box on pit road. Some drama here on pit road.
And it's funny you're saying that. He's DMing me on Discord while he's missing his box, so he's got some talent. I just got a Discord message from him. He's he's a multitasker, but I'd maybe like to see him more efficient, just doing one task at a time. I think here.
Maybe that's why he overshot the box, Brandon.
But,
that's funny.
I think that run proved a lot, right? I think what we learned is the bottom, like Alex was alluding to, definitely works maybe a little bit later than we did. It definitely seemed apparent that it saved some tire. Now I'm curious how this run's going to work. Does Chris file that away and kind of think about that, maybe not go up high as early as he does? Or does DJ change his philosophy and maybe try to run the high line if he gets out in front of Chris? It's going to be really interesting to see.
Looked like to me down pit road, you saw Hansen and Lewis Woodall come down pit road. It looked like they might have missed their boxes when they came down pit road the first time. Now they're on pit road getting their stops done. But Christopher Heller retains the race lead after pit stops. DJ Stagner will be second. Shane Neiswanger will be third. I see a fan of Brandon White in the chat. Brandon White is currently 17th in the number 86 machine, needing a good run. Looked real strong last week, but wasn't able to finish the deal, unfortunately.
I'm just trying to see if there's any big 50-60 laps here, Kyle.
Very good point, Brandon. Still very early on. A lot of drivers taking it easy. It's Kansas. I feel like it really comes down to strategy and just how you treat your tires at this racetrack.
And another guy is, from what I'm seeing from my telemetry, is Will Rightshirt. He started 21st, currently being scored on my telemetry in 9th. So that's another guy who's definitely on the move as well. And William Barbagelata, your man, Mr. Excitement, he's running 6th. He started 13th, so he's knocking on the top 5 right now.
Barbagelata's looked really strong, had a really strong couple opening laps, definitely made some moves in those first couple of laps. Maybe burned up his tires a little bit quick and kind of stopped. But let's see what he does on this restart. He seems very aggressive, especially on the restarts of the number 27 machine.
And it looks like the leader is going to take that bottom line. Can't blame him on that.
And Christopher Heller has picked the inside line, which means Stagner will start up high. Right behind Heller is the number 49 of Neiswanger. Then on the outside of him is Christopher Huerta.
Yeah, I think if there's any time to strike, it's going to be Neiswanger right now. He's going to want to get right up behind Chris and just try to go with him. The earlier he clears DJ, I think is only going to help him on this run. The outside line in these trucks with the just not as much horsepower, and you have a lot of downforce. Anytime you're on the outside, you're going to kind of get flushed out on these restarts in turn 1 and 2. So look for Neiswanger to be aggressive here.
Neiswanger was definitely making some moves on that last restart as he drove quickly up towards the front in that number 49 machine. And the pace car pulls off. We're about to take the green flag, the number 36 of Christopher Heller. Green flag is out. Heller and Stagner go. A lot of people were not ready for that early restart.
I don't think I've seen a better jump in a long time.
Yeah, very good restart from the number 36, and Stagner barely able to get in front of Neiswanger. And look who's in 4th, William Barbagelata. Great restart from him, and Huerta rounds out the top 5.
And you can see Chris trying to break that draft. There's Eric Kepf back there in the 63. 67 machine, I don't think we've talked about him. That is Will Rightshirt. Never mind, I was just talking about him. He's making up ground here as well.
Caution is out on the speedway here at Kansas. Looking to see what the incident was. And looked like someone had a blown motor, as you can see the engine smoke. Seems like Madalinas might have been involved in the incident, as he was not happy on the radio in the number 9 machine. Madalinas might be the fastest truck out here today, but certain circumstances have put him in a bad position back there.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate for Hunter.
Here we go. We have the accident right here. Looks like Steve's in this one again, and I'm not sure who is that. Duclos, I'm pretty sure. Going off the inside wall really hard.
Definitely a rough flick. Maybe we can get a second look at that.
Looks like McLean made it came off the wall. Maybe I don't know if he got help or not, or if he just hit the wall. It was really hard to tell from that angle. But it looks like that's where the wreck really started.
Definitely looked like a domino effect. There's definitely a better view here. Oh, and 62 just looked like he kind of got loose, and I think that was right in front of the 52 that happened. I think Brockman, correct?
Yeah, Brockman barely making it through that. The points leader coming into tonight in that number 52 machine. Barely slipping through there on the outside. You saw him in the Rowdy Energy machine.
Yeah, and just, obviously very fortunate to make it through, but that's a guy we have not spoken about at all tonight. But yeah, probably very thankful to get through that wreck, obviously, coming out here as your points leader so far.
Coming into today, standings are really close. It's been a really fun season. Sensi so far has led most of the season when it comes to points. But coming into tonight, Ross and Barbagelata really close in points. Fitzgerald, Madalinas not too far behind. Sensi looking to rebound after a really strong start to the season. Currently running in the 12th spot in the number 92 machine.
Yeah, guy we actually haven't even talked about either is Gavin Fitzgerald. I'm going to flat out say it. I think Gavin's doing a great job in the race car this season and in the broadcast booth for the Cup races. You look back a couple seasons ago, I've admired the improvement Gavin has done. Missed the playoffs in season 2, and instead of complaining about it, he kind of pulled a Brad Keselowski. He put a chip on his shoulder, but he carried himself very positively, and he hasn't forgotten that. I think he ran 4th or 5th last year in points, and he's definitely proven a point that he ain't no Joe Schmo. He can definitely compete out here. So Gavin's a guy I've been really, really proud of. He's putting in the work, and he's on a very good team now, Spectrum Racing. So a lot of positives for Gavin in his future here in Great Lakes.
Gavin's looked very strong, has been very consistent this season. Even when he hasn't had the fastest car, he seems to find himself there at the end and keep himself out of trouble for the most part. And the number 14 machine, our broadcast partner, looking strong again today as he's been running in the top 10 most of the day. And the number 14 machine currently in the 8th spot. As I was mentioning, when it came to the point standings, Gavin Fitzgerald comes 3rd into the points, and I was actually mistaken. Ross Brockman's actually 1 point behind Barbagelata. Barbagelata is actually the points leader coming in today.
So oh, my goodness. Okay, that is my fault as well. That is okay. So then Barbagelata really having a lot of consistency this season for sure, even surviving Bristol Dirt. And, hopefully the way it's going, he might be extending that, but we're still early here, so Brockman obviously having some time to get back up through the pack here.
As you were saying, it's still really early here. A lot could happen. We could see a lot more accidents. We can see a lot of strategy as we're still very early on in this race here at Kansas. We're going to go green flag racing this time by as the lights are out on the pace car, and it looking like Christopher Heller has chose the inside lane again, and then Stagner will restart on his outside. And then Niswanger right behind him. And then Barbagelata is now going to restart 4th. And Huerta is now 5th as they switch swap.
All right. So Heller obviously is going to have to use some reverse psychology. He went early last time. See what he does this time.
Yeah, it seemed like off the last restart, a couple guys weren't quite happy. I wasn't watching the miles per hour, but I heard over the radio that maybe he had slowed down a little bit before he had sped up. Not sure, but we're going to be definitely watching this restart and see what Heller does after a really good restart when it came to strategy last time in the number 36. The pace car is off, and there goes Heller, another good restart from the 36 machine.
Yeah, he has definitely got these down to a science. Obviously, the leader's always going to have the advantage, and looks like Nicewalker maybe got a little bit better of a start this time as well. And he's going to look to the inside of DJ right here.
Nicewalker, the number 49, has been really strong on these restarts. So is Barbagelata, and they're both trying to make a move on Stagner. Stagner's been really strong on the longer runs. 64 might even just let him by here, but it looks like he's going to fight back on the high side of the number 49 machine.
I'll tell you what, I think down the straightaway, if Barb stays in line behind Nicewalker, and of course he doesn't because I spoke about it, well, now I think Nicewalker using that apron, he might be able to clear DJ. And no, DJ is fighting hard.
Yeah, Stagner is really pushing it hard on that outside. He drove it into that corner so hard. He's still on Nicewalker's outside. He's not giving up that spot very easily. And Barbagelata and Justin Mons looking for space as Mons is going to go underneath Barbagelata and try to take away the 4th spot as all this is going behind Heller.
Unreal racing. You can see how much this track position means to these guys, and you got to race hard. We saw in the first run it kind of filed out and became single file, so I don't blame these guys one bit. Just you don't want to stall the wheel too much, and I think DJ is kind of in the having an advantage there, running the higher lane up the middle lane. He's going to keep the RPMs on exit. That's exactly why Nicewalker is struggling to pass him.
And Stagner's not giving him too much space down there either, but it looks like Nicewalker's going to clear him this time. He's going to clear him and jump up high off turn 4, and now Justin Mons is now going to attack Stagner.
Yeah, and it's just, the outside line obviously comes in later, but when you're filed out with 3-4 guys in a line, then you're going to actually have the disadvantage. The RPMs won't matter off the corner anymore, and just like that, DJ Stagner is back into 4th spot. But we'll see what Nicewalker has now for Heller. Maybe right behind him and just cool his tires for a couple laps.
That's exactly what I would do if I'm Nicewalker. I would look in the mirror and see Mons and Stagner still trying to battle it out for that 3rd spot. I'm not driving 100% right now. I'm driving maybe 90, maybe 95. I'm really trying to push it a little bit, but I'm not driving 100% at all.
Yeah, and I can tell you right now, the more they run side by side behind him, the more it's just going to help Heller. I mean, I can tell you right now, I don't think Heller's pushing 100%, and these guys are probably pushing 95%. So the guy in the advantage right now is definitely Heller. That's why these restarts are so important. He got out there with the jump, and as the leader, you gain that advantage.
These guys are battling it hard for that 2nd spot as they're almost 3 wide heading into turn 1. They were 3 wide just 1 lap ago coming out of turn 2. They're really battling it out hard for the 2nd spot. You have Justin Mons, Shane Nicewalker, and the number 64 of DJ Stagner, all under a blanket right there. And William Barbagelata right there behind him, just picking his moment, waiting for his time.
Yeah, and I think Barb, usually, obviously myself, I consider myself definitely a little bit more of an aggressive driver, but I think Barb is playing it very intelligent here. Just waiting for the right moment to go by these guys. Notice how he hasn't really poked his nose into this whole mess yet. I think that's really, really smart play by Barb. So hopefully that'll maybe pan out for him on the long run here.
Yeah, because you have to keep in mind, all 3 of these guys, when they're driving 3 wide like that, they're all using up their tires way more than William Barbagelata would be doing in that number 27 machine. And you see the battle for 6th. Gavin Fitzgerald has been on the move in that 14 machine. But here comes Jacob Bransky, who's been one of the quickest cars all day, but overshot his pit box and lost a lot of spots. I think he restarted in the 12th position, and now he's driving back up here as they're almost 3 wide heading to turn 1, and they are actually 3 wide.
Oh, my goodness, and that's DJ all the way up there, so he's filing back even further. But, man, Bransky, it's going to be important for him to get by these guys. If he wants to make up for that mistake, he's got to get going now.
Bransky making power moves, but here comes Gavin Fitzgerald on the inside. He's not giving up the spot that easy. 3 wide off turn 4. Gavin Fitzgerald. Oh, there's contact. The number 03 and DJ Stagner. Like some net code there.
Yeah, I think that's all it was. But hey, no harm, no foul. 180 miles an hour sideways. Who cares? They're still racing. Bransky's a dog. I'm sure he's probably laughing. But man, you can just see the hard racing on these restarts. 3 wide multi-groove action at its finest. So pretty to watch, and kind of wish more of these racetracks would give us this, and that's why Kansas is such a great place to race at.
I mentioned Daniel Nanny earlier. He was one of the quickest guys in practice. I want to say he was 2nd quickest in practice, and he had a very poor qualifying run, but look at this. Where did he come from? He's in the 6th spot. He's moved up 23 spots in that number 30 machine. He's making power moves all the way up there against the wall.
And I can tell you what, and the only way to explain it is he's a champion, and there's a reason he is a champion. You put this guy in any vehicle, he'll figure it out. He has raw talent and raw speed at every type of racetrack we go to, especially short tracks, and I am not surprised at all by this charge by Daniel Nanny, and I'm glad we're talking about him. Maybe he's going to have a shot to get up there against Heller. We'll have to see.
Daniel Nanny, definitely a hard charger right now in the number 30 machine, looking to get himself in the top 5, as those 4 guys are still under a blanket for second. It's definitely calmed down, but they're all still really close to each other. But Nanny is approaching, and here comes Bransky as well, and Gavin Fitzgerald right behind him.
Man, Bransky way up the hill.
And Bransky almost getting in the wall off turn 3, really driving that car hard, really trying to clear that number 67, and he will clear him down the front stretch this time.
My goodness, but still, with all this going on, there is still over a 1 1/4 gap to the leader between Niswanger. I mean, these guys, sure, you're racing hard, but what are you racing for? You're just hurting everybody else in line. And, obviously right now, Chris Heller just benefiting from this. He's not even in the picture. So, what have these guys really gained? They each have gained maybe a spot or 2. End of the day, maybe it would have been smarter to just sort it out early, but that's how this type of racing goes. You got to get everything early, and sometimes it just happens like this.
Yeah, Hellers drove out to around a 1.5 lead since the restart. Everyone running around similar lap times still right now, as we're still very early on in the run. Niswanger and Mons battling it out for that second spot still. Right behind them, you see Stagner. Stagner in the number 64 making another run at it. He just keeps on going back and forth, it looks like, in that 64 machine.
And where is he running on that trusted low line again? It looks like we're about maybe 18 to 19 laps in the run. My telemetry obviously counting some pace laps in there, but I mean, he is making that bottom work against these guys, even running the high side. I'm really impressed with what DJ's doing. I just wish maybe he'd be a little bit more aggressive and just, obviously he's paying the price now of losing the time, but if he can clear these guys, maybe if he can still run that bottom, maybe he can make up time and get to Heller. It's going to be really interesting. I'm very intrigued with what DJ's doing right now.
Yeah, Stagner doing something very different. No one else really seems to be doing that in the 64, and he's making it work. Last time on our last green flag run, I think we ran around 23 laps, 22 laps before we got that caution. This is around the time where Stagner really kicked it into high gear and started using that inside lane to pass people.
Yeah, no question about it. The question really is just going to be, is he going to be able to clear these guys? It's so hard with the way they're running right now, both of them in a line on the high side. It would be easier if he could just, Dale Jr. slide down one of these guys.
Oh, that's close. Oh, they're wrecking. Oh, my gosh. And Niswanger comes across the track. Oh, man, and his Twitter is blowing up.
His Twitter definitely is blowing up.
His car might be blowing up, too.
Oh, man, you just hate to see that many cars involved. I'm not sure if it snapped on Niswanger, but to me it looked like he may have been able to correct it. I would love to see maybe his cockpit of what happened there. Very unfortunate. It really looked like netcode, Kyle, in the beginning.
Oh, man, that was a tough accident. These guys were really squeezing each other. I don't even know if they knew they were 3 wide going into there. Niswanger tried to gather it up, but wasn't quite able to as he came back across the track. We're going to try to get a replay for you on that incident, as a lot of heavy hitters were involved. That looked like Gavin Fitzgerald had heavy damage in that number 14 machine. Got a feel for him, our broadcast partner. You're looking at him right now with the blown motor. He's running very well in that number 14. Oh, and Gonzalez spins it onto pit road.
Looks like he's okay, but my gosh, that would have been... Doesn't look like Jordan has as much damage as Gavin, and that would have hurt his truck even more. But definitely tough break for Gavin. He's been running extremely well this season, and something that he didn't even cause. He's just the unfortunate victim into something, and feel for him. I've been there.
All the leaders come down pit road. Heller's going to lead him down in the number 36. Stagner's right behind him. Barbagelata is now in the 3rd spot. Look who's in 5th, though. How do you say his last name? I don't even really know who this guy is.
I believe it would be pronounced Reichard, but I think he might be a newer face around to the league, but he is running a great race, Kyle.
Will Reichard in the number 67. Looked like he has a good amount of right side damage. A newcomer to the league.
And
Doing very well today.
Barber Gelada's off pit road. Not sure if he... I'm not sure if he stopped. I'm looking at him on my screen. I'm not sure if he...
He might have missed his pit box to the number 27. If that's the case, it's a very costly mistake from our points leader. And look who's still on the racetrack in the number 52, Ross Brockman, trying to get a bonus point, it looks like.
Yeah, and obviously, every championship point counts, but at the same time, a wreck just took out about, 4 or 5, maybe 6 trucks. I would like to at least see him come down to pit road and maybe take the end of line penalty. I don't know if staying out on tires after that long of a run is going to be a good strategy just for one championship point, but...
Yeah, it looks like Barber Gelada might have missed his pit box because now he's once again coming down pit road behind Brockman. It's a very costly mistake possibly from the number 27 machine as he was running in the 3rd position. Mr. Excitement, William Barber Gelada. He's now going to be going to the back and have to work his way back to the front. As we're finally going to take a look at this replay. Look at Nicewanger, gets up into the wall with Mons, and then just comes back down across the track into it looked like, couldn't tell who that was who actually hit on the inside of him, but then Gavin Fitzgerald took a heavy hit to the passenger door, and then a lot of guys just, I don't know if they didn't know there was an accident or if their tires were worn out and they slid them in coming in, but a lot of guys crashing into that accident there.
Yeah, and everything just happening so fast at a momentum track, but I definitely take that back. Nicewanger, it looks like, got hit 2 or 3 times. There was no saving that thing when he came back down the track. Just really unfortunate for everybody involved in this. I think Nanny was as well, a guy who was climbing through the leaderboard, and just unfortunate. Just hard racing, and sometimes just a little bit too much, and one little mistake can, create such a big catastrophe for so many guys. Very unfortunate.
It actually looks like he came down and hit the number 30, Daniel Nanny, who actually looks like he came out of it pretty unscathed, actually. I'm watching all these trucks just pour around him on the replay. Watching another replay here. Look at Nicewanger, and then him into Nanny, and then just gets leveled right there by Fitzgerald, and that was a day ender for them both right there.
Yeah, and just nowhere for Jordan to go. It looked like that car that Nicewanger just got hit, I missed the number. Not sure what he was thinking. You see 4 or 5 trucks wrecked in front of you. Definitely want to check up.
It looked like it was the number 8. Looked like it was the number 18, Ty Smith, driving through that accident late in the number 18 machine. It looked like he might have even had a little net code almost instant because he just kind of drove through him without getting any damage in the number 18 machine.
Yeah, it definitely might have been one of those deals. But Nanny almost just missed that as well. It's just unfortunate for him. He got caught up in that. But we'll see what happens here. Barber Gelada obviously with the mistake, but he still has about half a race to make it up. So guys are taken out too. So he's scored back in 22nd. It could be worse. He could be all the way back in, say 35th. So with guys out, definitely giving him a little bit of a lump to kind of make things up. So keep an eye on that.
William Barber Gelada confirming in the chat for us that he did indeed miss his box. You hate to see it, but still a lot of time left in this race. Christopher Heller is going to lead him down to the green flag as we're almost to halfway here. And the pace car is off. Heller's been really good on these restarts. And it looked like Bransky might have been a little ready for that one, but Stagner wasn't.
And I'll tell you what, I actually just zoomed in a little bit on my screen on Jake Bransky's car. I know he's been fast, but he's definitely got a little bit of right front damage now. So curious to see how Aero is going to be affected, guys, going forward here.
And I'm curious to see what maybe happened on those pit stops. We have a lot of newcomers up here in the front. We have Hunter Brittle up here in the 4th spot. We haven't mentioned him all day. We have Kevin Waltler up in 6th. Marshall Wilson up in 7th. Ashton Lawson's up here now in the 8th spot. A lot of newcomers up here in the top 10. Kyle Hall in 10th. And there's another caution out on the speedway. Cautions breed cautions here in the Great Lakes Series.
I'm curious to see what happened on this one. And looks like Duclos.
Looks like Lewis Woodall has a blown motor in the number 13 machine. That Pepsi can is crushed in the outside wall right now. I try to get you a replay on that one. Sound like maybe William Barbagelata might have even been involved in that as he's talking on the radio a little bit. I try to get you replay, and here we go. It looks like Cremines has already spun out here, and Lewis Woodall hits him really hard in the side door and just demolishes his motor instantly. We get another look at it.
Oh.
Ooh, contact there. It looked like that might have been Brandon White. I couldn't make out who that car in the middle was. It looked like there was contact from the car on the inside. It looked like Ross Brockman, actually. Second in the points coming into today. Maybe made a little contact with look to be Brandon White in the 86 machine.
Yeah, and I think maybe even Justin Bend in the 94 got tagged a little bit. He might be all right, though, in that Mountain Dew machine. But Lewis took a hard look right there. Oh.
Yeah, Lewis Woodall. Big hit. And I'm reading in our chat right now that the commentator curse had screwed Gavin. I'm really sorry, Gavin. We all apologize here in the booth. We were all talking real good about you. You're running real well out there, and I know you're gonna go out there next week, and you're gonna kick ass.
That law of averages. You can always have one bad race, but if you're finding yourself in the top 10, law of averages will pan out over the course of a season. So I'm sure Gavin will come back next week fighting strong. But man, even more guys taken out now. Like, it's getting to the point where some of these guys who even have had those mistakes, if they dodged it, then they're going to have even less cars right being at the end of the line. I'm honestly even thinking if I'm somebody back there who's made a mistake, maybe somebody like Barbagelata or somebody even like a Brockman, right? Who's back there. Maybe just try filling it up with fuel. Do something. You're already running back there so far. Just try something out of the box and just maybe try to gain some kind of advantage in case this thing goes green.
If you're just turning into the broadcast, looking at all these damaged vehicles, you'd think it was almost a wreck fest out here. But it's just all the accidents that have happened so far today have just been so massive. The accident would happen and just completely block the racetrack, and a lot of cars have been involved in just a couple of accidents. I think we've only had 3 major accidents so far today here at Kansas.
Yeah, it's just been a bunch of calamity. It looked like we were going to have a clean race early, though, Kyle. And, as you said, cautions breed cautions. Maybe if we can get out here just there for another 10, 15 laps, maybe we can space these trucks out a little bit and just dodge some of the carnage.
As we're approaching halfway, just a couple laps away from halfway here at Kansas Speedway. But look who's there in the 5th spot, Mr. Pink. We were talking about him earlier, Eric Kep. A lot of smart in that helmet right there for the number 63 of Eric Kep.
And I've raced against him, and it's exactly what happens. I mean, even on the relative, there's some times where you're racing a race, and all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, Eric's catching me behind me." It's just his intelligence is second to none, and it's definitely panning out for him today as well.
For sure, you love to see it. This has definitely been an exciting race so far here at Kansas Speedway. A lot of green flag laps. We've had 2 really good green flag runs so far today. Before 2 cautions ago, now we've gotten 2 straight cautions. Looking to maybe go green flag, maybe next time by. Looking to see where Heller is going to pick. I'm assuming he's going to pick the inside lane because I think he's picked the inside lane every time so far, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and it definitely seems to be working for him. Ashton's also another guy up there in the top 10. I know he ran really well last week at Bristol Dirt. I ran that race. Ashton's was going to run Cup originally, and he's come down here, and I think it's been a good decision for him. I think he's been competitive in every single one of these races he's raced in, so don't count him out at all.
Oh, I have not. Lawson always has a lot of speed in that number 24 machine. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he comes up here and begins to battle for the win before this race is done. Maybe a battle of the Jeff Gordon cars, because you have the number 64 of Stagner right there, and then you have him in the Rainbow Warrior car, Ashton Lawson.
Yeah, you'd love to see it. Me being a Gordon fan, I'd love it. But update on that Twitter, Kyle. We actually see Shane Eiswanger tweeting back. He's definitely as frustrated. Update is the plan was working, but he can't control other people's actions. So you can definitely tell Eiswanger's frustrated exiting this race early. Looked like he had a good truck.
Yeah, you definitely feel for Eiswanger. Definitely had a top 5, maybe even a top 3 or a winning truck in that number 49 machine. Definitely had a lot of speed on the beginning parts of the run. Definitely flexed his muscles at the beginning of the runs. But Stagner to me just looks like the guy to beat on these longer runs, as he just really is saving his tires down low, doing something that no one else is doing. We're about to get the green flag here. Heller's going to lead him down in number 36. He's been so strong on these restarts. Let's see if he performs another one as the pace car pulls off. And there goes Heller. Green flag is in the air. And Bransky was ready for this one, and Stagner. They're not too far behind.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, they finally timed one pretty well. They did. They go into turn 1. Bransky's looking under Stagner.
Eric Kepf and Hunter Brittle battling it out for the 4th spot. Looks like Kepf is going to clear Brittle possibly off turn 2. He will in the number 63. Stagner making moves. Oh, and you see Madalinas making a power move, blocking all the way to the inside. Look like Kyle Hall in that number 87 machine. Madalinas, here he comes. I thought his day was done for sure, but look at him. He's back here in the top 10.
Absolutely, no question about it. And that's the heart of a winner. Even the days when you have damage and you're finding yourself in 9th. That's the type of season Hunter's having right now. He should be really proud of himself. There's Ashton already going to the high side up there. I believe he's trying to clear Kevin Watler, I believe that is. Inside.
Ashton Lawson actually trying to clear Marshall Wilson. Kevin Waltler right in front of him. Waltler having a very good run, and now he'll make the move on Waltler in 3 and 4, and a power move. Clears him by a mile coming out of the turn in the 24. The 24 has a lot of speed right now, making a lot of moves as he approaches Eric Kepf.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he's making that upper groove work too early, and he's still making it work. So I'm gonna keep my eye on Ashton. He's doing something different here on the early run, even by himself, even without the draft up there. So
who would have thought the two Gordon guys are doing something different? Who would have thought? The number 85 machine right there, Marshall Wilson, not giving up. And the number 85 machine, newcomer, looking really strong today. He's been running around 10th most of the day, but with these accidents, he's really taking advantage, trying to get himself into a good position.
Yeah, no question about it. Marshall's been a guy who's been around too for a couple of these Great Lakes Truck Series seasons now. He's definitely a veteran, so good to see him running really well and just being confident out there. I'm happy to see it. As you can see, he wiggled a little bit. Now Kyle Hall's going to get a big run and go to the bottom.
Kyle Hall making a good move to the inside, trying to avoid Marshall Wilson, and Justin Mons right behind him, the number 39, trying to get himself back up to the front after being up there just a few laps ago before his incident with Niswanger. Watching the battle for 4th right there. Eric Kepf's going to clear Bransky going into turn 3.
Eric is just lurking, man. He has just been lurking and lurking his way up near the front, and now he's already knocking on the door of 3rd place, the podium. So, man, we were talking about Eric just being the calm, cool, and collected. Now Eric looks like it's go time, and it's definitely working for him. That 63 has turned on the jets.
Yeah, definitely learned a lot so far this race. It looks like Eric Kepf, and he's putting what he learned out here on the track, as now he's taking the 4th spot from one of the fastest guys so far today, I thought, in Bransky. But Eric Kepf gets by him, and now he's beginning to drive down Brittle in the number 10 in that Air Force machine. Very heavy battling back here. You see Barba Gelada. He's driving himself back to the front. Look at him. He's back in the top 10. He was around 20th just a few laps ago.
And I was going to say, and that's the advantage, right, of having guys maybe wrecked out early. He wasn't back as far. We know he has a strong truck, and he's already worked his way up to 8th on the monitor, and he's already looking to the high side for 7th. So way to come back for Barb, and, doing it really quick, too. So he is not going to be out of the question here at all by any means.
Yeah, Barba Gelada, Mr. Excitement, definitely putting on a show once again this week as he's gone from the back to the front, as he's trying to get himself back to the top 5, as he's in the 7th position, approaching Ashton Lawson. He's gonna try to maybe clear him out of the turn. Had a huge run coming out of the turn.
I think he might let him go. I know these guys are Spectrum Racing teammates. I'd expect probably maybe Ashton to let him go, and it looks like exactly is what's going to happen. Man, Barb is moving.
Yeah, William Barba Gelada is really moving at the speed of lightning, like all those lightning bolts on that Interstate Batteries machine. He is flying, that number 27. You love to see it. Coming into this race with a 1-point advantage over Ross Brockman in the 52. Ross currently running in the 18th spot.
And it looks like the gap is definitely starting to maybe sway a little bit. There's definitely like a second between Brittle and Kepf now. And it looks like Stagner's within a half second of the lead as well. So these guys kind of forming that second pack, right? Barbagelata and Ashton Lawson and all those guys. So definitely getting strung out now. This is exactly what we needed to get some green flag laps. And there goes Stagner back to that bottom lane again, but a lap car in front of him. Is that going to affect his air?
Last time by, I looked at the lap times. Every single driver was in the 32s, except for two. Christopher Heller and William Barbagelata, both running 31.8s last time by. Both of them are 0.2 quicker than the field right now. Those might be the two guys to watch for the rest of this race.
Yeah, and it looks like on the monitor, Barb just moved up another spot, so he is top 5 already. So the scoring monitor and the timing is not kidding, Kyle. He's coming quick, and he definitely is going to be a force with this race, especially if it goes green and he continues to gain these spots.
You love to see it. William Barbagelata definitely putting on a show, but a lot of action going on at the back of the pack. You see Steve McLean. You see the number 88 of Christopher Huerta. A lot of these guys have a lot of speed, and they're battling it out back here. You see Ross Brockman back there amongst these guys as well. Ross making moves. He's up to the 15th spot now.
Yeah, it looks like he's getting his footing a little bit. He probably sees that Barbagelata has gotten all the way back up, and he's, man, it's go time. I got to get these points. I can't give these up, and I think it's the right time to start going here. Try to get at least in the top 10 before pits. And you can see him go way to the bottom there, down the back stretch.
Yeah, that Rowdy Energy machine. I think it's like Rowdy Energy Ice or something, making a cold move in the number 52, driving all the way to the inside of the number 56. But now here he comes on Huerta. Huerta's looked so strong today. I really think Christopher has a top 5 car in that number 88 machine, but he's gotten caught up back here due to accidents, cautions, and strategy, amongst other things. He's trying to get himself back up there.
Yeah, I just saw Briar Fritz in that 77 machine back there, too. He's, we haven't really called his name at all. He's just hanging out, top 20. Obviously was maybe looking for a better day last week. Got caught up in a little bit of stuff at Bristol Dirt, but had a great run at Homestead. Briar's another guy who's really just trying to learn the ropes of iRacing, so the more he puts together just top 15, top 20 runs, it's really going to help Briar's confidence.
It looks like we're beginning to have a battle for the lead to develop, as Stagner is really closing on Heller. He's been closing on him the last few laps. As these tires get a little older, Stagner just gets a little stronger, and he continues to use that inside lane to his advantage. No, I just don't get why no one else is trying that, Brandon. And the caution's out. The caution is out. I feel like it's the same. We've had about the same green flag run about every time. Around 15 to 20 laps about every time. Not sure what the caution was out for that time.
I don't think they like DJ. It's every time he turns on those jets, Kyle, and he is coming, and then we get a caution. I think he definitely has the longer run truck, and we just have never really seen that battle develop. Really thought we were going to get it there, but we'll see what the caution was about here as we look to find it.
And we're looking at the replay here. It looks like a car is slow, very slow on the inside lane of the track. Couldn't make. Looks like Jordan Gonzalez, the number 3 machine, had blown up and pulled off to the side of the racetrack and stopped. I'm not sure why that was a caution. Looked like an iRacing error, as he was way off the racetrack, off the racing surface. So
yeah,
definitely seemed like iRacing error.
Didn't see trucks around him either. You're spot on with that. That seemed like just an error on iRacing, and very unfortunate. But we'll see what guys try to do here, whether they come or not.
And we're really getting to that point in the race where if we have another run like that and we get another caution, I don't see another long green flag run, because if we get a caution near the end of this race, it's just going to be caution after caution, because a lot of drivers get really aggressive at the end of these races. It happens in racing all over the world, not just in the Great Lakes Series. But as you saw right there, it looks like DJ Stagner stayed out. Everyone else came down.
Well, I'll tell you what, the way this is going with cautions, I believe we've used 2 tires, right? So this would be tire set number 3. We have 4 in the pits. We know the fuel run is about 33 to 35. They can't make it to the end here. Maybe he's pocketing those and thinking about late race cautions. Maybe that's what he's thinking, but being the only guy out there might hurt him.
Yeah, he might be thinking about what I just exactly mentioned. Cautions breed cautions. We get a bunch of late raid cautions. Some of these guys are going to be out of tires. So then that could really, really help out that number 64 of Stagner. Is if some of these guys are on 10 or 15 lap old tires, and there's maybe only 15 to 20 guys on the lead lap, Stagner is going to fly past all these guys pretty quickly. Ross Brockman out of pit road, P1. I'm not sure what the strategy is here, as Stagner did stay on the racetrack, so Brockman can't get that bonus point, as he was unable to get that bonus point earlier as he pulled onto pit road before he had led the lap. Very interesting call from Brockman. Maybe even missed his pit box. Maybe you're just taking 2 tires. Alex, do you have any information on Brockman?
I'm currently looking into that at the moment to see if he did pit. I'm not seeing any indication of him actually entering the pit, so it's likely he possibly missed his pit spot for what would actually be the second time today, I believe.
Definitely hate to see it. Stagner is going to hold true, as he's going to stay on the track and lead the field. The only guy who has stayed out, and he hasn't pit since lap 51. I see someone in the chat looking interested in joining the league. I think you can join their Discord or look up Great Lakes Trucks on Google, and you will find their website. I'm gonna see if I can post a Discord link in the chat for you.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Honestly, the best way to apply would be just through the application on GreatLakesRacing.com, and you get your choice of which league you'd want to join, Truck Series or Cup Series. We'll judge you based off the iRating cap, and then we'll be in contact with you. So definitely head to GreatLakesRacing.com, spelled exactly how you think it would be, and we'll get it rolling on the application for sure.
Yeah, just follow that link, Overkiller, and it'll bring you to the goodness of Great Lakes Racing. But I'm gonna send it to Alex. Alex, I think we might be able to try to get an interview with Gavin Fitzgerald.
Yes, let's try and find him here for a second. I believe I was not fully prepared for this at the moment, trying to organize this together.
Well, Alex tries to set that up for us. Watching the pace car, and looks like the lights are going to go out on the pace car, and Heller will pick the inside lane, and Stagner will take the outside. Gonna maybe try to fit that interview in the next time around. Next caution flag, we're gonna try to interview Gavin Fitzgerald. Gavin was looking really strong tonight in the number 14 machine. You hate to see him go out early as he did.
Yeah, and you know, obviously DJ trying to pocket the tires, right? But something he forgot to think about is fuel. So he's going to have way less than half a tank. So he's probably only going to be able to go maybe 10, 15 laps. So what's going to happen really is he's going to find himself on just a different strategy just in general. You know, maybe it would have been smarter to at least just put the fuel to have that as security, just to run out the run. I don't know about this strategy, Kyle.
He's really going to be counting on cautions, that number 64 of Stagner. If he gets cautions at the right spot, it really could work out for him, especially if a lot of these cars crash out. It could really change up things. And the green flag is out. Stagner spun the tires a little bit, but being the leader, he was able to control it and hang on to the lead as Barbagelata and Heller are right behind him.
Yeah, and there goes Barb. He's going to be really aggressive here in 1 and 2, but it looks like Heller's going to get it.
Heller's going to take the spot, and Stagner's just going to move over and let these guys by for now. Heller and Barbagelata battling it out for the lead. Brittle right there. He's trying to make a move in the number 10 car. He's looked strong in the last 15 or 20 laps of this race.
He really has. He's come on really strong, and my scoring showing he started in 31st, so all credit to Hunter Brittle tonight. And here comes Barb to the outside trying to make a move. Is Brittle going to go with him?
Barbagelata trying to get past Heller. Ever since Heller took the lead, he hasn't looked back. He hasn't looked back one time, and Barbagelata, what a move! Off turn 2, he almost spins it, but he gets to Heller's quarter panel on the inside. He's going to take the low lane away from the 36.
My gosh, what a great crossover, but is he going to be able to clear Heller? All will tell here down the front stretch. It looks like he got the momentum.
Pulled a little juke move almost in the number 27, it looked like, and Heller reacted. He'll easily clear him going into turn 1.
Comes Brittle as well. Trying to look to that bottom.
Hunter Brittle needing a good run in the number 10 car, looking really strong tonight. And here comes Mr. Pink. Eric Kepf, the number 63, is coming in right behind him.
Man, and there goes Heller way high, trying to get that run off the top side.
I'm not sure why Barb gave him the outside going into 3 and 4. Heller's been so strong up there. They're going to battle it out going to 1 and 2 still. Barbagelata is really trying to clear this number 36. Brittle's right behind him, looking to pounce on someone, and there's almost contact off the corner.
I'm seeing a little bit of a scrunch now on the front end of Heller. Not sure if that's going to hurt him.
Might have actually been some contact, it looks like. The 27, the 36, able to keep it straight, and they're battling it out still. Very cordial on the radio between these two as they chat about the incident.
Yeah, it definitely looked like Barb may have come a little bit late, but looks like they're going to be all right. And if anything, Chris has kind of hopped out to a lead, so we'll see how that damage affects him on this long run.
Yeah, Heller right back to point. The number 27 and Brittle now battled out for the second spot. Eric Kepf just sitting back there watching. And then in 5th, Justin Mons, he's coming back. The number 39 machine needing a good run. Look at Kyle Hall. We've hardly talked about him all day in the 6th spot.
And there is Kyle, and he's looking to try to go low to get 5th. I mean, Kyle is driving just a rock solid race. He's kind of just been hanging out like Eric Kepf, and all of a sudden now we're talking about him. So he's dodged the carnage. He's gotten his way up here, and Kyle's a very good racer. He's a very great guy, and honestly excited to see him up here and see what he can't do on this long run.
And you're watching the battle between Hunter Madalinas and Christopher Huerta. Huerta trying to get back up to the front, and Madalinas looked like he might have had the strongest car at the beginning of this race, but had an incident with Matt Daniels, and he's been trying to recover ever since with the damage on both sides of the number 9 machine. He's battling the number 88 of Huerta pretty hard, and the number 24 of Lawson right in front of him. And here comes Briar Fritz. Look at the number 77. Briar Fritz, where did he come from? He's in the top 10. Briar Fritz has slowly been making his way through the field all day long.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, tip of the cap to Briar. Something he really has told us he's been trying to work on is finishing races. Well, guess what? This is how you finish races. You hang out in the beginning, you run solid, and then you make your move. And that's exactly what he did at Homestead. He played a little bit of strategy. This has got to be making Briar feel really, really good. His confidence is definitely increasing, guys.
Okay, we're gonna stop talking about Briar now because he got a little loose off the corner, and now Duclos is about to pass him. We're going to go back to the front now and talk about those guys. Christopher Heller still has a pretty good lead over Barbagelata and Brittle. Barbagelata has finally been able to clear Brittle. He's beginning to put a little bit of distance between himself and Hunter. Eric Kepf still stalking these guys. He's been just hanging out right there. The first really big battle you have on the racetrack is with Madalinas versus Huerta, and Duclos is really beginning to approach this battle now.
Yeah, Aaron Duclos, I feel like a guy really we haven't called his name other than being close to Rex, and now he's running in the 10th spot. Definitely a decent comeback for him as well. So, you know, guys have had these up and down days, and let's see what they can do now. They've kind of seen some daylight up here near the front of the pack.
Duclos making some moves. He's going to jump to the high side of Hunter Madalinas. The number 9 machine is now down low. Got all these guys up high. Madalinas drives it into the corner pretty hard, trying to get in front of Duclos, won't be able to. Duclos is going to stick to his outside. And here comes Marshall Wilson in the 85. Now he's going to make a move on Madalinas.
Oh, man, you almost wonder if maybe some of that damage is just maybe holding Hunter's truck back a little bit, too, at the same time. But I'm looking at the scoring monitor right now, and it looks like pretty consistently Heller has been the fastest truck. So the more these guys race, right, the more they're going to lose the leader. So, you know, it really looks like this might be Heller's race in command here as these guys just continue to dog each other back here through literally 5th through maybe 15th.
You have to keep in mind, Brandon, these guys are going to have to make one more stop. So could we see possibly some early pitters out there, Alex?
Well, I believe the best you're going to be doing with this kind of situation, considering that as we see Briar Fritz going through the grass right now, as what we're seeing right now is because of the amount of time these drivers have been out on track, one of the good strategies they could try and pull is just trying to split this in half, as you could run about 23 or 24 laps each stint and try and make the tires even. That is, of course, if we don't have another caution, which, how this race has been going, I don't know if that's going to happen.
Definitely been a crazy one out there, Alex. I always appreciate the information you give us here in the booth. Hope you're having fun down there on pit road. Get anything to eat down there?
No, but I did have a cherry cola, so we're having fun.
Love to hear it. We're up against the wall, but we're going to try to get you a replay here of Briar Fritz and what happened with him. Looked like he had came down, and then contact between him and Wilson looked like some net code and sent Fritz through the grass. Great job by Fritz, able to keep it straight. Not much damage to that number 77 machine, it looks like. Here's another angle at the incident. Look at Sensi in the 92 getting right in front of these guys before that incident happened.
That's the dirt track background in Briar there. Man, he was driving that thing straight as heck through that grass. That was a great job by him to avoid any further catastrophe there.
Yeah, Briar Fritz unfortunately lost a lot of spots in that instant. He's dropped back to the 19th position in the number 77. You hate to see it, but still a good amount of laps left. And the way this race has gone, I wouldn't be surprised if we see at least one more caution. But as I'm saying this, look, we have a battle for second. Hunter Brittle, he has a long run car apparently, because here he comes on Bob Gelada all of a sudden. He's on his inside. Hunter Brittle looking strong in the last few laps, the number 10 machine.
I was going to say, and you said the inside, I think maybe he's been taking some notes from DJ, because it looks like he is going to commit to that bottom line. And we've seen from DJ Stagner as the run kind of progresses, it worked for him. So maybe Brittle's going to figure it out. These guys closing in on Heller as well, and battling each other side by side. So these guys are picking up the pace a ton.
Yeah, Brittle definitely looking really fast. That number 10 machine trying to get in front of Barba Gelada. Looks like he's going to clear him off of 2 this time by. Interested to see if William might make a crossover move to the inside. Looks like he's going to follow him into 3 and 4 as Hunter Brittle seems to have the faster car right now. Brittle's going to put it up against the wall.
Right, so it looks like he's going to be committed to the high line. He was just using the bottom really for the overtake. Got to keep an eye on these lap times too, because I think you said it. I think Hunter Brittle's definitely coming on. Just want to see if he's going to have the lap times over the course of the run. That time, obviously, Heller was a 10th faster, but I think that was because Barb was still battling Brittle. We'll keep our eyes on this as this run progresses.
I would like to also make a note. I'm noticing right now, because DJ Stagner kind of disappeared and went 1 lap down. The reason he kind of disappeared and went 1 lap down because he stayed out a few laps, and it looks like he made his pit stop right at the edge of the window. So I think he's hoping that him having those new tires is really going to play an advantage.
I'll tell you what, it could and it couldn't. The only fear I have is the amount of time he gave up in the beginning of the run. I think really what DJ is going to need is that caution, but he's going to need these guys to come down at least before that happens so that they forfeit their last set of tires. I think best case scenario for DJ is he gets his laps back or lap back and he just rides it out, and he'll have the spare set of tires. And if these guys don't, when they pit, obviously then is when he's going to make his charge. But he's definitely going to need a yellow, I think, at this point, just because of all the ground he forfeited just at the beginning of this run, being on old stuff.
Yeah, Stagner definitely forfeited up a lot of time at the beginning of this run, really hoping for a certain situation to happen. But if that certain situation happens, I don't see him losing.
And no question, I mean, 10-lap old tires versus, 0 fresh lap tires. I mean, we've seen what guys come back from 20th, like Barb, on even tires with everybody and get to 5th in about, 7-8 laps. So if Barb can do that, then I think on fresh tires, I think we can do it even quicker. So don't count DJ out if there's a caution by any means.
Yeah, we're on around a 20-lap run right now, and these guys are running around a 1.5 seconds slower than their quickest lap. So tires definitely playing a big factor into time trials right now. But Brittle is beginning to really catch the number 36. The number 10 of Hunter Brittle looking to pull an upset victory possibly here today in Kansas. He's trying to drive down Heller.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I'm looking at the lap times, and the last couple laps, Brittle was really closing in on the lap times. That time he was faster than Chris Heller, so he is definitely gaining. He was about 2, maybe 300ths faster, so that might even extrapolate as we go on here, maybe the looser the truck gets. So watch out for Hunter Brittle. He is definitely making a case now.
Yeah, Hunter Brittle in that number 10 machine. He's flying like a jet with that U.S. Air Force machine. William Barbagelato right behind him. And Eric Kep is just, I've said it earlier, he's just been stalking these guys. He's been just hanging out right there. He's been right there on the screen the whole time. He's just not giving up. He's just waiting.
Yeah, and something I'm curious about too is just when these guys are going to come down, right? So we got about 20, 25, 26 laps to go. Who's going to make that first move to pit road? Do you want to be the first one to pit road? Do you want to be giving up those tires at the end of the run? I think we're definitely within the window now, so I'm really curious. Maybe if I'm Brittle, you know, if Heller stays out, I'm going to stay out with him, right? If I can gain time on these older tires, I'm going to stay with him and then try to pit with him. But if I'm somebody like Eric, I might come down maybe a lap or two early, try to gain some time on the pit road flip-flop, and try to leapfrog some guys. So it's going to be really, really, really interesting.
It is going to be very interesting because almost all the cautions that we've had on these long green flag runs that came around the same time, around 20 laps, 21 laps into the run. We're a little over 20 laps right now, so this is currently our longest green flag run. So I wouldn't be surprised at all to see a couple of guys really push it to the limit and stay out as long as they possibly can.
And it just still looks like no takers, at least that I've seen yet. As you can see, Bransky there, he actually just moved into the 5th spot over Ashton Lawson. So Bransky looked like an early favorite. I don't think he's going to have a winning truck, but he's definitely recovered. He's been up and down, and good comeback by Bransky. I'm proud of him.
I would like to note the fastest guy the last couple of laps has been Eric Kep. Eric Kep, he's doing the DJ Stagner. He's been doing that inside lane. Not that last time. Last time he was around a tenth and a half slower than our leader, Christopher Heller. But the lap before, he was 2/10 quicker than Christopher Heller.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, if, you know, maybe he should go back to that line he ran, because you're right, he was slower that last lap, but I definitely was seeing that on the scoring monitor myself. Maybe Eric's playing with the lanes now. He saved his tires and he's experimenting, but don't experiment too much. If you know you're fast, stick to that line, because you can make up some valuable time here and play some strategy.
Definitely looked very strong in the last couple of laps. Eric Kep putting out another really good lap. A little faster than Heller, but Hunter Brittle was the quickest out of these 4 guys that last time by, as they're all separated by around the same distance. They all have around a half a second between them.
Not only that, he had 777s, Kyle. If you want to talk about having a lucky day here at Kansas, he might be finding the golden road, right? He might be following that out here tonight, but we'll see. I don't know if Heller's just managing the gap or what, but he definitely was faster the last time by. This time, Heller was a little bit quicker, about 100th faster than him.
I think these guys are really just keeping out for themselves, because these top 4 guys are around 6 seconds in front of Jacob Brantley in the number 03 machine. So I think they're really waiting to see which one of these guys is going to be the first domino to fall. Oh, Brittle's in the wall hard! The number 10! Oh, man, he really pushed it into 3 and 4, and he slid up and got into the wall. And if I'm Brittle, I come in next time by. I come in the next time.
I'm right there with you, Kyle. There's really no other option at this point, especially with the damage and the amount of time he just gave up. Unfortunate for Brittle, but, you know, that's the danger you play, right? You know, I was talking about the Wizard of Oz early in the race, right? We knew a couple of guys here today were going to become the Tin Man and wreck some sheet metal hitting the wall, but the wall is not going to move. It's going to be the Scarecrow from the Wizard of Oz staring at you the whole race, and when you play with danger, sometimes you get hurt, and just unfortunate there for Brittle, really, but definitely expect him to be on pit road. Is that Kef coming to pit road?
Yep, yes it is. Eric Kef is the first taker. This could possibly be a winning strategy for Mr. Pink, the number 63. Eric Kef looking to get his first win of the season.
I like it. I like the move, and it looks like Bransky's with him as well. At least I can see from the screen. It looks like he's on pit road as well. So it looks like Heller's coming. I see him going to the bottom. I think Barb is coming to the bottom as well. So these guys are coming too.
Heller's coming into pit road. Let's see if he can be mistake-free coming onto pit road. No speeding. Smoked up the tires a little bit, but no speeding. Barbagelato very close, it looked like. Number 36, Christopher Heller, looking to get a good stop. He has to stop in his box properly, not overshoot his box. Because if he overshoots his box, I can almost guarantee Eric Kep will be our race leader. Here comes the 36 and a great stop. Able to get into his box.
And a guy who would love a caution right now would be obviously not only DJ Stagner, but somebody like Kyle Hall, Hunter Madalinas, they're still being out here scored 1-2. So
Yeah, definitely some strategy calls there. I was saying it before. Some of these guys are going to stay out as long as they possibly can to try to get track position. The leaders begin to pull out onto the racetrack. We're going to see where Eric Kep shuffles in between these guys. Where does he go?
yeah, I'm going to be really curious. I know for myself, just in the Cup Series race, even just pitting one lap after a bunch of guys, there was definitely a pretty big gap. I was able to definitely make it up, but I think it was maybe 2.5 seconds. So, when the laps slow down here, being on fresher tires, even just for one lap, even half a lap, can make a huge difference in the delta.
I'm looking on pit road. It looked like Eric Kef had made a mistake actually on pit road during the incident. During that instance, he overshot his pit box by a pretty good amount, and then overshot it still a little bit more after he backed up, and Bransky leapfrogged him, and I'm watching Eric Kep, and he's just struggling getting into his box. He moved his truck 4 times trying to get into his pit box. Very disappointing to see that.
Yeah, and obviously, if you're going to come first, you're going to need a clean stop. You make a mistake, you obviously forfeit any potential gains. That's a shame for Eric. He was playing a really smart race, and hate to see that for Eric, but I know he'll bounce back and have a better run next week. Don't count him out, though. We could still have a late caution. He can make up some spots.
I've got some news here from pit road. Barber Gelada is in his pit box currently. Our second place driver back on pit road. He's sitting in his box. I don't know if he had a penalty or a ton of damage or what. I'm looking into it, but he's in his pit box and he's losing laps.
I mentioned when they pulled on to pit road that Christopher Heller looked good. I wasn't able to see Barber Gelada's speed at the line, but he did smoke his tires. So maybe he was a little quick on the entry to pit road in the number 27 machine. You hate to see it. William Barber Gelada, one of the fastest guys all day, missed his pit box earlier and possibly was speeding on pit road that time by. You hate to see it. And Christopher Heller has a pretty healthy lead over Hunter Brittle now in the number 36 machine in the 3rd spot right now, waiting on Chris White and Brian Mayhew.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to hear for Barr, but both him and Eric both being teammates, just unfortunate costly mistakes on pit road. But I'm curious to see how this really is going to play out here, though.
Yeah, we still got a couple laps left, and these guys are battling really hard for around that 10th spot. We have like a mini pack going on back there with Madalinas, Mons, and Hall, amongst others. I would not be surprised if we see another caution. We still have a couple laps left. We have around 13 laps to go here at Kansas.
Yeah, and I'll tell you who would love to see it is DJ Stagner. But, I don't think – I think if he wants it, he's going to want it now. He's not going to want it with only a few to go. He's going to need, even with the fresher tires, he's going to need some kind of time to at least be able to pass these guys. Maybe the best case scenario would be in about 3 or 4 laps, get these guys maybe like a third into their run so they have a little bit of wear, and then he would obviously get the tires to be able to leapfrog. It'll be interesting.
It will be interesting indeed if Stagner was able to get that caution, but the strategy so far is working pretty well for Stagner as he's currently in the 4th spot. There's a pretty decent gap over Duclos, but you'd have to imagine that Duclos, amongst others, would be able to get to him before this race ends. But you're watching the heavy battling around the 10th spot. Madalinas really trying to get himself a top 10. He's had a lot of speed today, but you mentioned it earlier, Brandon. I really think that damage is affecting Madalinas because I really think he might have had the fastest truck here today. He really showed it early.
Yeah, no question. And the trucks are just so aero sensitive. Anytime you get damage like that on the side, it's going to make a difference. But here's Eric kind of creeping back up. He's probably driving a little angry, trying to make up some of that ground he lost on pit road as he ducks below his teammate here, Ashton. It's going to put him in 7th if he's able to clear him.
Lawson getting a little loose off the corner, able to keep it straight. Kep is going to try to clear him going into 3 and 4. And here comes Michael Sensi, needing a good run. He's led the points most of the season. He's trying to rebound to that number 92. And then here comes Kyle Hall. Lawson's just going to let him all by almost, it looks like. Not sure what happened with Lawson there in 3 and 4 as he was really slow.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. And not sure what was going on there, but I'll tell you what, who doesn't care? Eric Kep, because he looks like he's got sights in his mirror now of the 37 of McLean. He wants to make up more time man, you can see Eric definitely dogging this thing. He might be able to come in home here 5th because the next guy in front of him would be DJ Stagner, so obviously on old tires.
Here they come on Stagner now, the number 64. You see him up against the wall. He's really hoping for that caution because he can get that caution right about now. He can get fresh tires. Everybody else is on older tires. He might be able to leapfrog all these guys and possibly win the race, but we're running out of laps.
You can see Eric threading the needle. Oh, man, that was a great move off turn 2.
Eric kept making some really good moves here late in the race. Looked really strong all day. He's been really smart racing all day, but a very bad mistake on that last pit stop as he was unable to get into his pit box properly, and he's trying to get himself back up towards the front as he's now back in the top 5.
And it's just, you know, if Hunter Brittle, I'm looking at the lap times right now, you know, even with that damage we talked about last time by, he was almost a tenth and a half faster than Jake Bransky, who is being scored in 3rd. So, you know, even with that mistake that Hunter Brittle made, he might still come home here with a podium sitting P2.
Yeah, Brittle definitely looking good today. You have to be impressed by his run. A lot of drivers needing a good run today. They're really putting on a good show. You have Aaron Duclos there in the 4th spot. Bransky's in 3rd. He's showing a lot of speed and looks like he's going to be able to get a finish where he deserves to finish today. Huerta's been running in the top 10 all day. Sensi's been running around like 15th most of the day. He's trying to get into the top 10. A lot of good storylines from this top 10 here today.
Yeah, and then just, you know, looking at the championship implications, it looks like Brockman right now, from my monitor, is being scored 21st, Barbagelata 27th. So 6-point swing, I think. I don't think Brockman led a lap, so maybe Barb was able to lead lap. I completely forget. So at least on the racetrack, a 6-point swing, not including bonus points so far as they run.
A very interesting points day for a lot of our points leaders. William Barbagelata has had his troubles. Ross Brockman just hasn't really had enough speed today, and he's also had a lot of troubles as well. Madalinas has his incident early. Gavin Fitzgerald had his incident earlier in the race as well. Cremines, he's had his issues. Daniel Nanny, he's had his issues. 6 out of the top 7 guys have had pretty major issues today. The only one that hasn't, Michael Sensi in the 7th spot right now.
Yeah, and he's just kind of had a rock-solid day, and I feel like we really haven't talked about him much, but obviously going out there and winning Daytona, the opener, he is locked into the playoffs, and just a good, solid day like this will just help his positioning when we come playoff time.
I really think the guy that's so far having the best points day, though, has to be Hunter Brittle. Hunter Brittle came into this race 9th in points, 53 points out of the points lead of William Barbagelata, and he's in the 2nd spot right now, really trying to maximize his points in that Air Force Chevy, just really trying to get as much as he can out of today before we go to Richmond next week.
No questions, and you know, he should definitely be proud of his efforts today. I wouldn't hang the head. Everybody's made mistakes, but great showing, and obviously if you're going to come home P2 to a Cup regular, you know, assuming the Cup regular didn't run the race, Hunter Brittle would be your winner tonight. So way to go for Hunter Brittle. Very, very good run. I'm right there with you, Kyle. Great points night.
These guys are going to come to 2 to go. These guys are still battling it out pretty hard around the 7th, 8th spot. Madalinas, Kyle Hall, Christopher Huerta, and Sensi's passed all these guys. He's moved himself into the 6th position. Good job from the number 92 of Sensi, trying to get back points after having an unimpressive week last week, unfortunately.
Yeah, no question. And it looks like Heller is just sailing. I don't think there's going to be anything stopping him once he gets that white flag.
Heller was talking to us in the booth. He said he really wanted to win this race bad. He wanted to get that truck win for the 36. He takes the white flag. Christopher Heller has a huge lead, has around a 4-second lead over Brittle. All he needs to do is keep the car straight. Don't wreck it. Don't blow any tires. Don't blow no motors. Just keep it straight. That's all he needs to do, and he has this.
Yeah, and I know for a fact this is going to mean a ton to Heller. Last year at Richmond, we all know what happened. It was internet issues for a lot of guys in iRacing. Half the field lagged out. He was dominating the race. Tonight, he's going to be a winner in the Truck Series. And I know a lot of guys in this field are going to be proud of him. Well deserved by Chris Heller here tonight.
Christopher Heller wins here in Kansas. And Hunter Brittle's going to come across the line in second. Great job from Brittle. Baranski is in third. Duclos, Kep rounds out your top 5. Great race here today. Congratulations to Christopher Heller getting his first career Great Lakes Truck Series win. Great job from him. He's been dominating the Cup Series circuit, and he had to come over to the trucks to do some domination today.
Yeah, no question about it. And you know, from from the drop of the green flag, he really looked like he was the guy to beat. Would have liked to have seen what DJ could have done, but he outsmarted himself, I think, here tonight. I think he knows that too. And you know, you can say all you want, but DJ never got even past Heller. So I think Heller was by far the most deserving of this win, and he's going to burn it down here for us.
A very close moment you saw on your screen for our leader. Like Madalinas was coming in to congratulate him and almost wrecked into him, almost spun it out going into him. But now Heller's going to burn it down here in Kansas. He followed the yellow brick road to victory here today. The number 36 of Christopher Heller gets the job done. That 36 truck is just fantastic.
No question about it. Love these burnouts too. I love the going straight burnouts when you'll really see the smoke fly. You know, I think it looks a lot better than a donut. I know Heller loves to do them. I like to do those types of burnouts too.
And I think he lost the tire on that one as he has no control of that truck now. And I think I see a rim on the track right now. He is wilding it out. He is so excited about this win. It will definitely be a good interview whenever we're able to talk to him, as we're going to try to get you interviews with the top three here in a couple of moments with Alex. Alex, what'd you think of the race here today?
Well, I thought it was definitely something to watch. I mean, I was glad we got a good long green flag run at the end. Got to see some guys show their talents on getting on and off pit road. Unfortunate incidents that followed from that, and plenty of wrecks in between for guys in the back to make their way forward and guys who were up front wrecking each other and allowing for those opportunities. So it was definitely quite the watch, I'd say.
Yeah, it was definitely a great watch. A lot of strategy, a lot of multi-groove racing, as you saw. A lot of incidents, definitely some drama, definitely a lot of carnage out there. And Christopher Heller saw all of that in his mirror as he was just smooth sailing, sipping on his tea. Gets a good victory here today, as this is his first Great Lakes Truck Series victory. And I'm going to send it down to Alex, who I think is going to maybe try to get an interview with our third place driver here today.
Yep, we're going to be dragging in Jacob Baranski. Hello, Jacob Baranski, our third place finisher here for tonight. How was the race?
It was pretty good. Had some damage early on that caused us to pit. I went from like 3rd to 25th, back to 3rd. So yeah, overall just a good fun race. Had a lot of fun slide jobbing, and yeah.
Yeah, I want to ask you, how was the multi-lanes tonight? Because we saw a lot of drivers kind of all over the place, a lot of side-by-side racing and good stuff going on in between. How are the grip of each of the lanes working out for you?
Yeah. Earlier on, it was kind of just frustrating. I was able to like not get a pass off on Shane, I think it was earlier. But then like later in the run, I started like figuring out that you can like really send it in to get like a good slide job going. So I had a really good battle with Aaron. I think he finished 4th, and we were just kind of going back and forth, and it was like a lot of fun. So.
Yeah, we definitely saw quite an interesting race. One of the notable things that happened throughout the race was, well, the incidents, and especially the big one that happened in turns 1 and 2. Now, what was your perspective during that incident? Did you happen to be ahead of it at the time?
Oh yeah, one of them I was like kind of behind, and I like swerved like in between 2 people to like try and avoid it. So I was just lucky to not get mixed up in that.
Yeah, that was one of those wrecks that took out a good majority of the competition. So
Oh yeah.
luckily you managed to avoid it. You got through it, and you managed to get a 3rd place finish. So is there anybody you got to thank for that?
I'd like to thank my sponsors, Hippies and Pib, and then Chevrolet Silverado, and just thank you guys for putting on this great show for us, and shout out to the Great Lakes League.
All right. Simple. and nice. We love to see it. Thank you, Jacob.
Yes, thank you.
All right, let's try and get our second place finisher here.
I got worried about Barb.
Oh, Hunter, hello.
Hello.
How are you doing? Second place finish from 31st on the grid. Congratulations on that one. And I gotta ask you, how'd you do it from that far back?
Thanks, guys. I was just managing the tires the whole time and trying to keep it clean as best I could. That's been my strategy the past couple weeks. Really, I've had not good qualifying efforts, and then managed to keep it clean and dodge all the chaos in the early stages and make my way up there and put together a good finish. I was really happy with it. I'm really sad I couldn't get up to Heller. I got into the wall there just a little bit before the last pit stops. Otherwise, I think I would have had something for him.
Yeah, we noticed there you were battling with Christopher. You're pretty close to him, and then you got into the wall, but you still had decent pace at the end of the race. I mean, first of all, what happened that you got into the wall, and then how was the truck handling afterwards?
Honestly, I didn't notice a handling difference. It was really just speed. I think the arrow got all messed up. I guess I got too hot into the corner and drifted right up into it. That's what I get for running that wall so aggressively that we like to do here at Kansas. So, unfortunately, I couldn't keep it out of there, but I'm really proud of the effort for myself, and hopefully I can get up there and contend for more of these wins soon and actually get one.
Yeah, that was definitely something that we watched happen throughout the race. A lot of people were contending for the win, but sadly Christopher managed to just pull out ahead. So I gotta ask, was there something you needed to do different to get him? And if so, what was it?
I guess I could have done a better job of managing that clean air. That was really, really the difference maker, honestly. That I felt, anyways. I feel like if I could have just got alongside of him, I might have had him. But unfortunately, didn't get up there. But man, it was a great race. I got to give congrats to him. He drove his wheels off, and I'm really looking forward to racing him more.
All right. Well, good job on the finish. Anybody you got to thank for it?
I'd just like to thank Daniel Nanny, team owner of Turbo Racing, for believing in me and he's been giving me pointers over the last few weeks. Coming into this league, I was probably on the lower end of the skill gap, and then just being able to race with good people consistently has really upped my game, and I've really been excited to see the progress that I've made and really looking forward to the future.
All right, Hunter. Again, good job on the finish. You did fantastic today, and thank you for coming in.
Thanks, guys.
All right, and for our winner for tonight, Christopher Heller. Christopher Heller, our winner for tonight. Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Hey, we gotta have fun here. You almost stinked up the show a little bit, but you did have some decent battles going on throughout the day. I mean, talk about the guys that were battling with you throughout the day.
So DJ Stagner, I believe that's his name, DJ, in the 64 truck. He was a beast tonight. That's the guy who I was mostly worried about. Then the 1010 of Hunter Brittle just came out of absolute nowhere, and he started catching me, and that's when I started getting really, really scared. And Barb had some pace, but I felt like he used up his stuff on that one run where we were battling. But yeah, I was definitely worried about a lot of drivers tonight. There was a lot of drivers with a lot of pace. I don't like, even though like I feel like I led as many laps as I did, it did not feel like at all that I felt like I really dominated this race. I felt like I had to work for this one.
It definitely looked like it from up here as well. I mean, we kind of had our eyes on the lead for most of the race when typically you'd be trying to look for battles, but no, it was right up at the front of the field. I mean, and you say that Hunter sort of scared you a little bit. Now, he mentioned a little bit about the clean air and trying to manage that. Was that something you were thinking about, trying to lead the race and affect other people with that?
To be honest with you, I was actually just trying to like in the corners, like when they were side by side, I would try to give draft to both drivers so that way they would stay side by side. That was my plan, and I guess that worked. I mean, I was just trying to dump air onto their cars to try to slow, like kind of weirdly slow them down a little bit in the corners, and it seemed to work. But I felt like I definitely was tearing up my stuff a little bit doing that, but it felt like once they started getting single file, I felt like I had the pace to just manage the lead and manage the gap a little bit. But there was definitely times in that run where or like in all the runs really, like about the midpoint is where I felt like they would start catching me a little bit. And that's when I felt like I had to start kind of pushing a little bit just to keep managing that gap. And then towards the end, it kind of felt like towards the end of the runs that it kind of felt like everything just kind of evened out. Like I could just kept ripping off about the same lap time each lap, maybe off by a couple tenths each lap here or there. But definitely want to I appreciate all the lap cars for holding their lines while running for the lead. I didn't really have any trouble with any of them except for like the 52 car kind of gave me a little bit of trouble at the end, but at the end of the day, he's trying to stay. I'm assuming he was trying to stay on the lead lap there, so I can't really blame him for that.
Yeah, he was. He was trying to battle for that lead lap, as I believe he may possibly be our points leader following the race tonight. So.
Oh, the 52.
Yep.
All right, cool. Cool.
So once again, good job on the win. I mean, is there anybody you got to thank for it? Because you gave us a lot of information, and clearly you had a lot to happen to get this one.
Well, there's a guy in your booth right now, Brandon Barkowski, who basically showed me how to save my rear tire, so I got to thank him first and foremost.
You're welcome.
Matt Daniels, I got to thank him. Jordan Gonzalez, I got to thank him too. They had unfortunate evenings, unfortunately, but sometimes it's just about keeping the car clean, and that's pretty much what I did. And yeah, I'm sitting here in Victory Lane with you guys, talking to you guys. But I also want to thank you guys for the broadcast. Definitely means a lot. I can go back and watch it now and not be all upset because I got the dub. I got to definitely thank Eric and Sam for running this league, as well as Patty Engineering for Sam's parents owning that company. Got to appreciate them for helping Sam run this league. This is a fantastic league. Sam and Eric are doing a fantastic job running it. Now I want to thank the guys on the Cup side, Brandon, obviously, Nick Martin, Phil Bedford, and Nathan Nicholson. Got to thank those guys as well. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got.
This is somebody that appreciates everything given to him, giving thanks to every person he could possibly think of. So, all right, thank
Yeah.
you, Chris L.
Yeah, I'm sure I missed somebody, but I thank you even if I didn't mention you tonight.
Don't worry about it. There's a lot. There's a lot of people that I'm sure will be happy tonight. So, thank you and congrats once again.
Yep, thank you.
All right, and for our final interview tonight, I believe will be Eric Kep, who is our 5th place finisher. Hello, Eric Kep, our 5th place finisher. How was the race for you?
It was a pretty decent race for me, I would say. We started kind of towards the top of the field. I think I started 12th, if I'm not mistaken, and just kind of hung around the back of the top 10 the whole race. We had that big wreck in the middle of the race kind of take out a few guys in front of me, and I somehow managed to miss it. And then I was basically running top 5 the rest of the night. I actually did overshoot my pit box on the last pit stop, and that got me back to about running like 15th of the leaders who pitted, and somehow I passed about 9 or 10 of them to get back up to 5th spot on that last green flag run.
Yeah, honestly, we're pretty surprised here in the booth. I personally didn't notice it, but I had them talking to me a ton in the booth, talking about wanting to talk to you, and after saying that, I could see why. I mean, you really missed your pit box, and to manage to get into the top 5 after that, I mean, that's a hell of an effort. How'd you do it?
Like I said, I overshot the pit, and then I was too far to the right, so I actually had 2 issues. So I lost a ton of time on that last green flag stop, and I did pit ahead of Heller and Barb and Hunter Brittle. So I think I would have made up a second or so on him if I hadn't have messed up. So I could have been right with Heller at the end of the race. And I don't know if you guys caught it in the booth, but during that second to last run before the pit stop, I was running on the bottom, and everybody else seemed to be up on the top, and I was making up a little bit of time on them. And towards the end, I was catching Heller and them, so I thought I had a decent shot. That's why I did choose to pit a tiny bit early. But yeah, just made that mess up, and I'm happy to get my first top 5 of the season. It's been a rough season so far for me.
Well, since you mentioned that, that was something we were hoping to talk to DJ Stagner about, as he was one that was really dominant on that bottom line. So how was that bottom line, especially in the longer runs?
Everybody that was running up top, I had a couple guys on my team in my Discord chat, and Barb and sorry, I'm losing it right now. Barb and Hunter Madalinas were complaining about how loose it was getting up on the top, and Gavin did earlier as well. And so on the bottom, it didn't get loose. So you did hit the brake a bit, and that kind of settled the truck a little bit, and you were able to roll the bottom, and it didn't get loose at all. And tires just didn't seem to be an issue either tonight. I don't know what was up with that, but we weren't wearing tires like I'm used to on these 1.5-mile tracks. So yeah, it worked out pretty well for me.
Yeah, you had a fantastic run. I mean, you really were not up there for most of this race, but after that big one wreck happened, you managed to sneak your way up there, and you had pace pretty comparable to the leaders. So I mean, what did you learn while you were back there, especially after avoiding that wreck?
Yeah, like I said, they were running a different line than me for the most part on that long run, and whatever I was doing was working for me. I was keeping up with them, and towards the final pit stop, I think I was even catching the top 3 a little bit. So unfortunately, it didn't work out in the end, and we'll just see what happens next week at Richmond. I absolutely hate Richmond. I'm like Ryan Blaney. I absolutely hate that track. So hopefully I'm saying that now, and that might work out well for me.
Well, I'm sure you'll be hoping so as well. So I've got one last question. Who do you have to thank?
Well, I got to thank you guys in the booth for putting on the broadcast. It's a great broadcast. I've got to thank my entire team this year, with RJ as a co-owner running the Cup League. And then I've got my drivers here in the Truck League who have been great for me. We just all seem to be doing pretty well this year, up decently in the points. So, Anderson, Barb, Gavin, and Hunter, we're just kicking away at it, just trying to be as consistent as possible. Everybody kind of had an issue tonight, it seems, on the team. And fortunately for me, I was the one that was able to get the best finish. But got to thank, Elliott Henderson for just being a good friend and a team owner last year and the year before. Somebody I can always talk to, Samuel Hoff and Christopher Heller, the other admins of this league, the Great Lakes League, and had my friend Tony and my mom watching tonight. So I just got to thank them for always tuning in and watching. I don't know if my other friends Scott and Jared were watching, but just got to say thanks to them too if they are still watching right now.
Hopefully they still are, because we had quite a detailed conversation with you. So thank you, Eric, for coming in and talking to us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys. See you guys next week. Talk to you.
All right, boys, let's close out the show for this great race at Kansas.
It was definitely a fantastic race at Kansas. Going to give you a quick top 10 rundown. Your winner today, of course, Christopher Heller, 2nd place. Hunter Brittle, 3rd place. Jacob Bransky, 4th place. Aaron Duclos, 5th place. Eric Kep, 6th place. Michael Sensi, 7th place. Christopher Huerta, 8th place. You have Hunter Madalinas, 9th. Marshall Wilson, and then 10th, you have Kyle Hall. a fantastic race out there, Brandon. Any last thoughts on the race today?
Really just thankful to have the opportunity. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I will say I have gained a ton of respect for what goes on behind the scenes here. Cool to really see it from this respect. I think I have one more, according to Sam, but I think it's later in the season, so looking forward to that opportunity, and awesome to see some multi-groove racing here today, and what a victory by Christopher Heller, his first career Great Lakes Truck Series win.
It was awesome to see Christopher Heller getting the win today, and it was a pleasure having you in the booth, Brandon. You did a great job here today, and excited to see you in the booth in the future. But next week, we'll be at Richmond as we enter Richmond week. Both the Cup Series and the Truck Series will be at Richmond this week. Same time, same place here on Split Second Broadcasting. I'm not quite sure yet if the Cup race will be broadcasted here on Split Second Broadcasting on Thursday, but keep an eye on our Twitter to see if a link will be posted for Richmond on Thursday for the Cup Series, and then Richmond on Tuesday for the Trucks. See you later, and thanks for tuning in. Have a good night.